All right, what's your favorite true crime podcast? If you listen to podcasts, chances are something just came to mind.
That's right. 34% of U.S. adults who listen to podcasts listen to true crime regularly. So why is it so popular? And is it good for us? Well, tonight we get some answers. Crime Junkie, 3, Murder 101, Love and Death, Murdaugh Murders, Dahmer. Americans love true crime.
Led to the identification of the killer.
It is the most popular genre of the top podcast and one of, if not the most popular types of TV shows on streaming. But why?
Of course, people love to be in other people's business, right? And there's some fascination. The more spicy it is, the more interesting it is.
Dr. Amber McDonald is with the Department of Psychiatry at CU Anschutz Medical Campus. She says there is also a physical payoff to watching and listening to true crime.
There's also a physiological component that occurs while you're watching these things. There's this chemical dump that makes your body feel good.
You get the dopamine, the titillation, and the chance to safely dip a toe in some pretty dark waters.
You watch Dahmer and you got an idea about what it may smell like, what it may look like, those types of things. So it's like, it's the best of both worlds there. It is a inexpensive, socially acceptable way, again, to get this chemical dump that's not like to get your adrenaline up or to get into this like spicy space.
Yeah.
And people love fantasy.
The cold case isn't so cold anymore.
Why is it so popular now? Well, part of it, of course, is that there are so many places to consume it now. But McDonald adds that it's also likely a reaction to these times.
And I think there's a role to play in terms of some of the social unrest and some of the political issues that we're navigating as a country.
As with anything, McDonald warns that all this true crime should be consumed in moderation. She says she's seen too much of it lead to paranoia, anxiety, and trouble sleeping.
Don't do it in your bed. I realize that people like to watch shows before they go to sleep, but again, that chemical component of adrenaline can really impact your ability to get a good restful sleep.
And there are ethical considerations too. In a powerful guest essay in the New York Times earlier this year, the sister of Polly Klaas, who was abducted from her California home in the 1990s, argues that a family's tragedy should not be your entertainment. She writes, "The exploitation of victim stories often carries a steep cost for their families, as their tragedies are commodified and their privacy repeatedly violated for mass consumption."
And that is the underbelly, the unintended consequences that I think show up.
Dr. McDonald believes, though, you can be a good person and get your true crime fix. Take a moment to do a bit of research on the show. Are family members involved in the production, or have they given approval? Are any of the profits going to a foundation or a nonprofit?
I think that that makes good sense. So at least as a family member, I know that they're not doing it to maximize on my pain, and they're trying to do it to create some sort of awareness.
It's never been easier to enjoy a crime documentary and to make sure you're doing it in a principled way, which is good because the appetite for death is alive and well, just as it's always been.